Hey, this is JR, your certified high performance coach. I get to help driven and ambitious people like you master proven disciplines in high performance in business so that you can win at home just as much as in business and sports. Just curious, have you ever woken up late, rushed out of bed, and barreled into a meeting or a practice or presentation? Or have you ever caught yourself going to bed early some nights, but then other nights you find yourself staying up late, just mindlessly scrolling through social media or answering tests or emails or just eating? Or how about during the day? Do you have a way of transitioning between different parts of your day smoothly? Or are you just the type of person who just moves on from one thing to the next like a robot? And if you're like most people, you're suffering from at least one of these. So my question is, how has that made you feel? And how have these habits affected your performance at home and in your career? So listen, full disclosure, I've answered yes to all those questions during a 3-year stretch in my life. I was the guy who hit snooze 15 times almost every morning and drove my wife nuts, only to finally wake up with 20 minutes before I had to leave the house. And I was also the guy who'd go to bed with 100 things circling through my mind. And during the day, I was a disaster. I'd flip from one task or project to the next with no real intention or intensity. Next thing you know, it'd be 5 o'clock. I was completely drained and would have to rush home just to cook dinner for the family. My life was just rush, rush, rush. And my mood and energy was horrible throughout most of the day. I was up to the brim with stress and could never have a restful night of sleep. I never felt like I was on my A game. All of this negatively affected my family, my friends, and coworkers. Until one day I had had enough. I wanted more peace in my life. I wanted to approach each day and activity with enthusiasm and anticipation. I wanted to be more present with my family and everyone else around me. I wanted to perform at my very best the entire day, not just for a couple of hours. Are you with me on this? I was just sick and tired of, just existing. I wanted to live, work, play, and inspire at the highest levels possible. So, one day, during some quiet time, I thought back to my days when I was actually on my A game, operating on all cylinders in every area of my life. And sadly, I had to go all the way back to when I was in college, living my life as a Division I student athlete. And the more I thought about it, that life wasn't much different than my adult life. I had meetings and practices, obligations, bills to pay, and relationships to sow into. I had curveballs thrown at me almost daily, practice time changes, impromptu meetings, you name it. So I wondered, why was I so much more equipped back then? It was clear as day. I had routines for everything. I had morning routines, evening routines, study routines, eating routines, and then, of course, routines I'd use in games. Now, I could see you starting to roll your eyes and say, oh, here he goes. He's just going to talk about routines. JR, we've heard about routines. This isn't new information. You're right. It isn't. But what I've learned, just because you know about them doesn't mean you're applying them in a way that works for you. Take it from me. I spent 4 years as a student athlete crushing routines, only to become a working professional who completely forgot about how powerful routines were. So today, I'm going to teach you a lesson on routines that I had to learn on my own. No one is teaching this concept like this. And by the way, since implementing these routines in all areas of my life, here's what happened. I started watching TV less and reading more. I was going to bed on time. I was waking up earlier and more refreshed, which meant I had more time to myself. I was less rushed in the morning. I was clearer about what I needed to get accomplished. My brain was shut off, from work when I got home. I was more present with my wife and kids, and my client ratings increased. And you know what? I'm getting more quality work done. Emphasis on quality. I'm simply doing better work. Now, I could keep going, but bottom line, I am performing at a higher level. And my clients are Two, I mean, look, they keep telling me that after implementing a day full of routines, they have more structure in their life and they're living with a sense of ownership and order and organization. They're also telling me that they are building great habits and are overall more consistent in every area of their life. The world tells us to just go, 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 multitask. Don't think, just do. But what I've learned from my own experience and from working with highly successful athletes, entrepreneurs, and coaches, we just eventually burn out on that program. Sure, we need to go. Sure, we need to move. But we need to do so with intention. And the more intentional we become in our day-to-day, look, the more consistent we become in our actions, our mood, our performance. And that's where routines come in. They keep us consistent and enable us to be at our best in every area of our lives. There was actually a study done with athletes. Leading performance psychologist Jim Lohr, strapped heart rate monitors to his athletes and had them perform with and without routines. Well, guess what happened? The ones who had routines, they were able to lower their heart rates by up to 20 beats per minute, giving them a huge competitive edge. So where am I going with this? On top of helping us be more intentional and consistent, having routines keeps our stress levels down too. Again, you may have heard about routines. You may have them. And if you do, you're probably still watching this video because there's a part of you wondering, if they're just at the level they should be. And you may be wondering if there's a better way to implement them so they could stick and help you live that life that you want and perform at your highest levels. Well, look, I'm here to tell you there is, and I'm going to make it simple for you. Now, before I get into the 5 steps to championship routines, I want you to get clarity around what you want during this season of your life and who's counting on you. We have to be emotionally connected to the tactics we use and the goals we have. Otherwise, you'll go nowhere with them. When I first did this exercise, I listed these. I listed all these things that I wanted, and I'm going to show you right now. So when I first started this exercise, I listed what I wanted. Number 1, I wanted to go to bed without 30 things on my mind and wake up refreshed and ready to crush the day. Number 2, I wanted more quality time with my family. 3, I wanted more peace with myself and my work. I wanted greater impact on my clients. I wanted to be in the best physical shape of my life. I wanted the energy, expertise, and excellence to help bring the family back into business and sports, my mission. I wanted to get closer to God and my life's purpose. And, I wanted to stay connected to friends and extended family. And as far as who was counting on me, number 1, God was. I believe I'm living out His mission for my life. 2, my family. 3, my friends. 4, my clients. And 5, this world. And now that, we have that done and figuring out, what we want and who's counting on us, now we tackle those 5 steps. So, number 1, I'm going to show you. I want you to start listing all the major transitions you go through during your day. And when I say transitions, I'm talking about, from waking up to leaving the house to going to work or practice to coming back home and going to bed. And as you can see, here's my example. My transitions were wake up, get the kids ready for school, getting into the office, lunch, leaving the office, getting dinner ready for the family, having the actual family time, and then, shutting down my day and preparing for the next day. So step 2 is after you have all these transitions listed, I want to, give a title to all the routines that would help you make each transition. And as you can see my example, I had, my morning routine, a pre-workday routine, a workday startup routine, a lunch routine, a workday shutdown routine, a family routine, and a personal evening routine. Now, if you notice, all of these routines play into those lists of what I wanted and who's counting on me. So those are the first two steps. Now, step 3, with each named routine, I want you to list the key activities that make up each routine and how long those activities may take you to complete. Now, what are those things you need to help you move through the day with both intensity and intention? I just used my morning routine as an example. So here's my morning routine written out on my routine template. So I start with meditation. That's 10 minutes. Number 2, I do a Bible study and light snack. That's about 20 minutes. Number 3, I journal. I review my big 3, and then I do my affirmations where I actually affirm myself. Then I get dressed. That takes me about 15 minutes. I pray. That's about 10 minutes. And then I go work out, which is about 60 minutes. Then I literally tally this up, and in this case, my morning routine takes me about 2 hours. And by the way, if you would like a printout like this where you can actually write them out, I have a template for you. So just go to jamesreid.com/routines to download it. Okay? jamesreid.com/routines. Now, step 4 is, now with your championship week calendar in front of you, ponder where these routines would fit. And if you don't have a championship week layout or calendar, make sure to go to my website, jamesreid.com/calendar to grab the template, okay? So that's step 4, figure out where the heck they're going to go. And then 5, plug each routine with the proper time allotment into your championship week and calendar. Now you have placeholders in your calendar that will allow you to make better decisions and get some consistency to your day. Notice, this isn't some cookie cutter exercise on routines. This is something simple that is customized for you. Now, before you go crazy and create all these elaborate routines, I want to share with you where people go wrong with this exercise. First, they don't write them out. Guess what? When you start implementing this high performance habit, some days you'll forget what your desired routine is. Do you know how many times I had to go back to my journal and look at what I wrote? A lot. I'm 3 years in and I still have them written down. Second mistake they make is they don't schedule their routines in their calendar. Know that what doesn't get scheduled doesn't get done. Plus, scheduling them in your calendar will help you make smarter decisions on scheduling other things in your calendar. Lastly, just start slow. The biggest mistake I see people make is they try to flip a switch. They're going from having no routines to a ton of them with multiple activities within them, and they become so overwhelmed that they never implement them. So what I want you to do is just start slow and small. Start with your morning and evening routines and pick one task in each. What's one thing you could do first thing in the morning that will make you feel better and prepared to win the day? What's one thing that you could do before bed that will help you get the restful sleep you need and deserve? Don't overthink this. Just start simple. All right, that's what I have for you today. I hope this served you. And remember, you're just one win away from living more joyfully, leading more intentionally, and winning more consistently at home, in business, in your career. So keep pursuing that life of champions.